Okay, so welcome all of you, and you know, so I'm supposed to talk on go-to-market. So yes, it is the ultra important thing. No matter what you do, ultimately it's all about the customer. It's all about reaching out to the customer. So in an entrepreneur's world, it is not the sun at the center and the planets moving around. It is the customer at the center, and everything moving around. So this is how it is, and you learn it the hard way. If you don't do things right, if you are not really focused on profits, if you're not really focused on the customer, you know I would suggest you need to wear your sales hat really soon in your entrepreneurial journey, because that is what makes the difference, right? So I'm proud to say that yes, I'm a salesman, and that's how it is. People call me entrepreneur or whatever. I don't really understand entrepreneurship. I understand that yes, sales price minus cost price is equal to profit, and I must sell. Simple as that. So, and there could be very big definitions to it. I could make it very complicated. There can be 3 4 days workshops on all that. But what real definition which has helped me is simple as that: sales price minus cost price to profit. You should be very very clear on where your profit is, how you're going to make it. Have a simple dashboard in front of you which tells you month on month what you are earning, where your money is going, and these little things will help you. Because I tell you, if you keep 3 months of data with you कि मैंने जनवरी में 50,000 का, so sorry, I mean, people, anybody who is not able to understand Hindi at all, कुछ ऐसा तो रीजन नहीं है सर? Not at all, Arul. Okay, fine, so sorry, I'll try. Delhi, I'm from Delhi, so Hindi comes automatically sometimes. Okay, I'll be cautious. So yes, if you are maintaining your data, that how much you earned in January and February, September, March, and what happens is, if there is a dip or something, it hits your mind to a huge extent, and you want to better your targets. So if it is in front of you, this is a very simple exercise. Any child would do it, and most of the times it is so insignificant that people simply don't do it. Try doing it, and your profits and your sales and your revenues, everything is going to improve. Don't ask me how, but it happens. You should have these things clear, because this is how your mind thinks, mind perceives. So you tell your mind that this is, I'm used to this 1.5 lakh rupees I made this month, 2 lakh rupees I made this month. If it dips a little, have a graph over there so that you can see, your mind can see that graph, and you can see a current going through your entire spine, and you just don't take it, you don't accept it that it is going down, and you will do anything and everything in your power, and to make that graph up. So that is the basic. Okay. So go to market. I have prepared a few definitions for you. So I will share that PPT as well. I think I'll be able to share the screen. Yeah. So I'm sharing my screen. Okay. So if I go by the definition, it's very simple. Number one thing, it depends from person to person, because there is no set definition of go to market. Every soul has to work out its own salvation, and everybody has to formulate their own GTM, and there is no golden answer to what exactly is a go to market strategy. What works for me probably might not work for you, or what works for you might not work for anybody. So just like we have like sat sur, sare gama padani. So I can give you sare gama padani, but it's up to you. How do you mix and match and make your own melody? So this is how your approach should be, right? So this is how it has to be, and only those components you can have, but you can never have a golden answer. So it's basically an action plan that specifies how your company is going to reach target audience and achieve competitive audience and all that. So I've put this thing together for you so that you can read it later at your convenience, and you can put it. But number one thing, how I'm going to probably take it up is one thing at a time. So this is my version of GTM. Otherwise, I've got yes, McKinsey's and everything. You can see that later. But let's come down to the basics. So what happens is, here is the customer, and you want him to kind of buy from you. Simple as that. So this is very much like it's very much like you want to say somebody, yes, will you marry me? But the problem is, this straight will you marry me sometimes doesn't work, and probably most of the times it doesn't work, isn't it? So this is how we approach go to market. So there is your customer, there is your market. In your heart, this is what you want. You want to cut the clutter. You want to be a real nice guy. You want to go straight away and say, will you marry me? But this customer is a very unreasonable guy. He doesn't accept that simple, straightforward thing. He wants some jalebi. He wants, you to go around the bushes and trees and, then come to him and then say with a flower in hand, will you marry me? And then that, person is going to accept. If you do it the very first day, he or she is not going to accept. So what do you do? Do you agree with me? This is how the problem is. You want immediately to reach out to your customer, but the problem is your customer doesn't want to engage with you.
Yeah.
What do I do then? What should I do? What should I do to engage my customer? Go back to your college days. How did you manage to get a yes?
Strike a conversation.
Try to
Strike a conversation and
fantastic.
some communication channel.
Super, super, super. I never knew you'll switch over so fast to your youth and pick out some answers from there. So you really did that well. So this is exactly what we do. And what we do is just a moment, please. I copied something else. Okay. So your references, this is what you do. You reference, you try to get it via your friend, via your elders, etc. You get introduced, you want to strike a conversation, just as you said, you want to strike a conversation. Fine. But okay. So is that a good way to do that? What is the guarantee? Or maybe are the chances bright that your customer is going to engage with you?
No, there's no guarantee, but absolutely no guarantee if you don't do it.
Yes, absolutely no guarantee if you do it. Okay, that's the spirit. So let's do it. So what is our job now? So what is our duty now? What to do? How do we get a yes? How do we get a yes? That is the question. How do you get a yes? So what I need to do? What are the steps probably?
Maybe a free trial.
Okay, free trial.
First of all, get to know the customer.
Get to know the customer. Okay, you want to know the customer, get to know the customer. Okay.
So identify what are the weak areas, right? Where to strike.
Okay,
so
yes, fantastic. Okay, okay.
Create knowledge base around the product. Like create a tutorial or something, knowledge around our product.
Okay, that is later. Product. Everything starts with that easy. Maybe you get to know that you have been pursuing the wrong person all the way. So nothing like pursuing a wrong person and she actually saying yes. That is the tragedy of life. You don't want that. You want your target customer to say yes. You don't want anybody else to say yes. Otherwise, this is a big problem. Okay? So you don't want to get there. So TG. So number one thing is you got to define your target audience. Who is your target audience? This is extremely important to define because, the problem is, you got less money and you got to buy a lot of gifts for your customers, isn't it? You got to buy a lot of gifts to get that yes. Money is limited. The quality and the quantity of the gifts will go down if you have got 17 people to pursue. So that is how it is. So yes, target market. For that we have got tools like target persona. So you should be very, very clear who exactly is my target, where he or she is, what is the age, what is the income, everything about that customer you can understand, about that target you can understand, and not just all about collecting information. It is all about understanding the pain. This is where the magic lies. You have to understand what is the pain. What is the pain? Like I tell you, if I'm a counselor, right? If I'm a relationship counselor and I want more and more customers, right? And I'm very good in say sorting relationships, father-son relationships, father-mother relationships, husband-wife relationships, husband and mother-in-law relationships, and all those things. I'm an expert in that. So how do I approach my client? What do I say him? Okay, I'm a wonderful counselor. Please come to me at Gut Counseling. That is one way to do it. That is very much like, will you marry me? But the problem is,
sir, I have one point. Maybe
yes, go ahead.
I would rather, try to find out who is the influencer for my customer.
Yes.
And I would approach the influencer probably, to get that done. I don't know. If
yes, that is fantastic. But you have to really hit on the pain also. Because you don't want influencer and, the influencer to say something which doesn't really matter to that person.
Sir, I think you need to make a need for that customer, that you are the need for them.
Okay, that is wonderful approach. But my friend, if you are Sony or Apple, then you can probably go out and create needs. That looks very, very good that I will go on to create needs. As a startup, the best thing we can do is address a pain. There is already a need there. And if we can address and fulfill it, it is far more easier than to sit and, actually formulate and try to create a need. It is difficult, right? So, just spot a problem and start solving it is the best way to go ahead. I understand that. Yes, that is fine. So let Sony create a need for a Walkman, understand it, and then do their own. But as a startup, I would like to go for a pain, and that is far more easier. And as a startup, you want to have some money in your pocket, some traction as soon as possible. Otherwise, the little funding which you have got will end, and it ends sooner than you expect. That is the problem. The money ends midway. I have done it several times. So the initial failures I had was because my money, I lost my money sooner than I expected. I spent all the money. Okay. So yes, number one is the pain. You need to really understand the pain. So if I understand the pain, so now my pitch is not going to be, okay, I'm a counselor and come to me for some these kind of issues. How I'm going to start? I'll start by probably saying, are you feeling a gap between you and your teenage child? Can you feel the relationship changing? When your child was really a child, he was younger, he was 5, 6, 7 years old, you could pick him up and go to picnics and anywhere. Now the moment he has become a teen, you can feel the difference. You're not able to connect to him, you're not able to talk to him. Are you a father whose son is not interested in talking to him? So these are things which are hitting him because this is the pain he is facing. And now what is happening? There is a hook. There is a hook in your talk. There is a hook. So this is going to hook that person, and probably he's going to go have a second look. So, it's very important to have a target, and it's very important to have, a clear-cut idea of what pain that person is facing, right? Okay. And then once you have this idea very, very clear, then your whatever communication you do will have hooks. And once they have hooks, you got into the very first, step towards getting that customer, and that is getting his attention. Otherwise, you will never get attention. So as a marketer or as a person who is interested in getting to a customer, what are the steps? How should we reach? So you said initially, you would like to strike a conversation or do something. So that means you want to gain attention of that prospect. And attention can be had only when you talk in a language which addresses his or her pain. If you're not addressing a pain, probably what is going to happen is this is just like trying to fish, trying to move your thread inside that pond without that hook. The fish is there, the pond is there, the thread is there, everything is there, the fishing net is there, but you don't have any hook. So once you have that hook, only then the fish is going to take the bite. So attention, you're going to seek attention. Number one. What next we can do? And this attention could mean, this could mean traffic. This could mean a lot of traffic to your website, probably, right? You have got an app, you have got traffic. You want traffic. So once you have traffic, what is the next step you want to do?
You want to explain what your solution for the pain of the customer is.
Okay, you want to explain the solution. Okay, but before that, what happens is if somebody comes to your website, because that is how the technology is, that is how probably you will have your entire thing laid out over there, entire net laid out over there. So traffic, yes. And then, if you want to explain, how are you going to explain? Should it be there on the very first page of the website, or how it should be? There should be a lead generation mechanism, some lead capture mechanism where you can capture the data, you can capture the name, or you can capture the email, whatever. And sometimes this is called
call to action kind of thing.
Call to action. No, it is more of a lead capture mechanism. And for that lead capture, you need to have some lead magnet. For example, you can say, okay, for example, I want to lose weight and I was searching for somebody, and I got a message. I come across a message which says, now you can lose weight without giving up your burgers. Now this is a hook to me, because normally how it is, weight loss is like, you don't eat this, you don't eat this, you don't eat this. So automatically weight loss, I also understand, but this is not possible, right? So I want to enjoy my food also. And if there is something, with the food, can I lose my weight? So, okay, if I see an advertisement, now you don't have to sacrifice your burger. Now you don't have to, eat half of the portion or do something. You can have whatever you want and still lose weight. Now, this is something which hits me. So that means the person is very, very clear that the audience is somebody who hates to give up their burgers, who in nutshell, who hate to give their lifestyle, but still they want to lose weight. Maybe they'll take a little more time longer, but this is the ideal customer. So it all starts with defining your customer target segment. I could define my target segment as very, very sincere people who can, give up anything. And no, I don't want that. I want my people to, lose weight in, 12 months, not in 3 months. I want to get paid for 12 months. Not, I don't want people to lose weight and leave me in after 3 months. I want that 12 months of my, salary to come from one. I want that customer lifetime value. So I want those difficult customers who have, who are ready to pay, who want to engage, but they don't really want to give up, and they're okay with losing weight a little longer, after a little longer. So that is my typical customer. So I'll put up those kind of advertisements which have that kind of hook. Do not give up. You don't have to run 10 kilometers a day. You don't have to, whatever. So that is going to attract people. And now when those people are attracted and they come to my website and I say, okay, fine. What you do is I have got a 20 or a 10 page, ebook, which gives you step-by-step exact process, how you can do it without any help or without any support in 30 days flat. All you have to do is put your email address and download the ebook. Do you think now is they have an incentive to put this email and their name and their data rather than just having a simple form over there? They have far more incentive. They're far more incentive because now, so this is called lead magnet, and this is also called ethical bribing. So I'm bribing them. I'm telling them, okay, take this free coupon. Take this, this thing or whatever. So this is ethical bribing. I bribe them, I get their data. Once I get their data, now only then I can strike a conversation. Now the power is in my hand. And you don't need to ask their address and their chacha's number and their cousin's number and everything you all need an email. That's it, sufficient. The best marketers of the world only have an email list. Why email? Because you might change your phone numbers. You don't change your emails as frequently. And as a professional, email is where you do all your transactions. It is not about the mobile. So email. So this is how you get the leads and you start building your list. And in today's world of marketing, I tell you, the money is in the list. The more people you have in your list, imagine if I've got 20,000 people in my list. I maintain it more than 20,000 plus. So what I do is I come up with a new session, new plan, new lecture, whatever. I send it to 20,000 people. At least 200 respond. I put there is a lead capture mechanism, through which I have collected these leads. Now there is a landing page over there. A landing page describes it and says this is the money. And if I'm sending to 20,000 people, I don't really have to worry about my copy and everything. They are all my customers. They all know me. Customers in the sense, anybody who has downloaded the ebook, even though he has not paid me, he is still a prospect. He's in my list. He's in my list. So there is some sort of affinity already existing between him and me. And so, there is there's likelihood that he's going to convert and he's going to buy my stuff, right? So the money is in the list. So this is how you build your list. So this is not the step. This is just a corollary I added. Okay. Next, what do you do? Once you have got this lead, what do you do now? Go back to, will you marry me? You have got the phone number now. You understood that will you marry me only gets you slaps. So you don't have to ask, will you marry me? But yes, the idea is that the point is, yes, that, you want to come to that point, will you marry me? But no, not directly. So you go there and you introduce yourself or get yourself introduced from some friend or whatever. And then you strike a conversation and then you get an email, get a mobile number. Then what? So if you are getting the the mobile number and the first thing you say, will you marry me? Again, you have gone to square one, you have lost that lead. You don't do that. What do you do once you have that mobile number? Yes, guys.
You can send some messages.
Some messages. Some interested things, some messages, some value addition. If it is a customer,
Yes.
You don't immediately come to price. You show the Mercedes photograph, then you say it can go from 0 to this miles in for so long. And then one fine day, why don't you test drive it? I'm coming with a test drive, test drive. Why don't you do that? Once you test drive, and one fine day you have got Diwali Navratra offer that if you buy today, you have got EMI and this and customize whatever. So you give it a trigger. So this courtship period, you got to maintain that courtship period, and it could take 4 months, it could take 6 months, it could take a year, it could take 2 years, whatever. So the third thing is, once you have got this lead, you got to nurture. You got to nurture. And once you nurture it right, this is going to happen automatically. This is going to happen automatically. And this is a proven technique I told to somebody, and he did these 3 steps very nicely. And the 4th point actually came from the other side. Okay, how long are we going to do like this? Are we going to get married or not? So it comes from the customer. It comes from the customer itself. Okay, fine. This is wonderful. Now, what is the price? This is how it has to be done right. Not you telling him the price. It should come from the customer. So if you do these 3 things right, if you generate traffic, so your job basically as somebody who's interested in getting money out of the customer's pocket is this. Number 1, drive traffic. Drive lots of traffic, and lots of relevant traffic. This is not like anybody and everybody coming to your website or to your store. So go back and have, even before the traffic, you need to have your target market sorted, your TG sorted. What is your target audience or target group? And for that target audience, you need to create something called customer persona. That means you got to clearly know who my customer is. If, and that is when, your digital marketing will also come alive. That is when Facebook is going to really support you, because Facebook is going to ask you a few questions. Who's your customer? If you're not able to tell the customer, you say, Facebook, give this ad to everybody and anybody in your network. You're going to spend a lot of money. Your CAC is going to be high and you'll not get the required leads. But if you tell Facebook, okay, Facebook, please send this advertisement to a 26-year-old girl living in Gurgaon, living in an apartment which costs 1 crore rupees, which has a rental value of 25,000 rupees, and that girl should be interested in shopping and should have an iPhone 6 and must be making 1.5 lakh rupees per month. This is my customer. Please send my advertisement. Now Facebook exactly knows where to send your advertisement. It's going to hit only that person. So that is the advantage of having a customer persona. And you might not be able to make it overnight. It will take you a lot of time. It's fine. It's fine. But this is where it starts. Jab tak aapko clearly malum nahi hai, you are going to keep spending money on gifts and nobody, you will never get a yes. And then you will sing songs like, what song, sir? Amit sir, can you give me a good song? What Ashik people sing?
I don't know. Not able to recall now.
पत्थर के सनम तुझे हमने कहना मोहब्बत का खुदा जाना. So this is what happens when you have do not have the right customer persona. So this is how it has to be. Right customer persona, you got to really hit on the right target. Take time to decide this customer persona, and then this is your target audience. And I can show you some example of target, this customer personas. Google is a wonderful thing. So if you simply type Google your customer persona and go to images, now you see this is how the customer persona comes in. You can go as deep as possible. It is so beautiful. So maybe this is my customer persona. So this is the customer. Age 45, occupation, planning director, education, engineering degree in MBA, personality is extrovert, status is married. See how deep they go to find out, what exactly is customer persona, who's my customer, what are the motivations, what is that motivates her, what is that, power, status, all those things. Let me visit the page so that I can see it in a maybe. Yeah. Okay. So motivations, what motivates her is the incentive. Fear is a motivator. So ये bar graph जिस तरह से आपको देख रहे हैं, तो achievement is the bigger motivator here. Growth, power, social. So what are the frustrations? What is that? The pains she's going through in her life or whatever, in her professional life or personal life or whatever, where you can fill that gap by giving a suitable product, maybe a counseling service, or maybe a product, or maybe a cup of coffee, or maybe electric scooter, or maybe whatever. Then personality, how is the personality? Extrovert or towards introverts, sensing, thinking, feeling, judging, all that technology. She's into IT and internet, software, mobile apps, social networks, everything. So, this is how you go and understand your target audience. And then you come up with, this is the second one. So this is a sample client persona for a home buyer. So who exactly is your home buyer? You see, it is very important to understand who is your customer, because I made this mistake early in my career. I used to pursue any and every opportunity I had. Not that I could not. It took a lot of energy. It's fine. I had the energy. But the problem was I felt divided all the time. I felt pulled in every direction and took a lot of time, and it was taking superhuman efforts, and the results were not as good. So you don't need to do that. You don't need to follow any and every customer. You need to sit down and think, because what happens initially, it is the fear. When you are a startup, you want everybody to sell. You want to sell to everybody and anybody. You think, okay, fine. You started with, probably the goal was you will make informational websites, but the grocery wala comes to you and says, sir, meri website na dijiye, I'll give you 50,000. So normally your customer persona, everything you thought maybe I'll make informational website for 15,000, and somebody comes with 50,000. You cannot say no, and you start making that 50,000 website. Then somebody else comes to you. He says, okay, fine. Mine is a salon, and why don't you make a specific solution for us? And you start doing that. No, it might look that there's a lot of money. They are offering you 3 times more money, but this is going to take you 10 times more effort as well. But if you stick to your guns and if you say, I'm going to make only informational websites, you will be known for that, and you will be, very, very expert in that. You will go far deeper into that. You will discover new tools where you can do things very, very easily. You will have, you will have kind of templates where you can crisscross and copy. You can copy one template, another template, and you can be able to make 3 websites in a day rather than 15,000 rupees each, rather than making 50,000 rupee website, which will take you 20 days to develop. So you got to really, really stick to your guns that this is what I'm going to do. Hometown in Massachusetts, has 2 cats, drive a reliable minivan, second time home buyer, interested in larger home. Identifies she's active on social media, willing to reach out via email, expects a fair amount of customer. So what are the goals? Desire to upsize her home. She wants a bigger home, interested in pre-sale, and would like to make a few changes to existing floor plan. Demographics, this is the age. 3 children, civilian school teacher, married to a higher ranking active duty service. She spends time on Pinterest, email, whatever. These are the challenges, military timelines and busy schedules. This is the favorite technology, interests. So what you can do with this now is very, very important. So, how you can help. This is a small business owner. She's a social media marketing person, and this is her demographics. The goals and challenges are saves time online. She wants to save time. She wants to find interesting content to share. She wants to maximize social media resources. And how you can help now? You can schedule posts to a queue. So you can come up with a product which can help her schedule posts so that she saves time. Why she'll be interested in this saving time feature? Because this is exactly what she has described in her challenges, that she wants to save time, and you are coming up with exactly the same offering that which is going to save time. You offer her a software which is going to queue all her posts for say $10 a month or $20 a month or whatever, and also suggest a lot of content. So this is a far better fit. So you will be able to have better fit once you understand the pains. So it all comes, down to understanding your customer and pains and problems. I'm going to give you a sheet also later on. I'm going to share it in the WhatsApp group. You can see over there. So pains and the possible solutions. This is how you do it. So once you have this clear, you target, you have the audience targeting clear, then you try to get the traffic. Now, how do you get the traffic? What is your strategy? This is your market now. This target audience is your market. And now you got to go out to this market and attract this market. Then you can use tools. Now, what tools can I use to attract? To take my message? Maybe Facebook, FB post, a good FB post which is addressing this pains and addressing this void in her life. So that is one. Maybe another social media post, maybe Twitter post, or maybe whatever, and it could be offline also. You can have a newspaper ad or whatever you can have. So these things combine and they will get you traffic. Once you have this traffic, you should have a lead generation mechanism somewhere. You should have lead generation mechanism, and I'll tell you what is the lead generation mechanism. For example, if I search a dietitian near me, what's going to happen is, okay, I'm going to search for some websites. Okay, so you see, so many dietitians would come up. So maybe this is one. Cult Fit is one, and maybe we have some advertisement also. Okay, this is the Go Diet's Best Dietitian. Okay, and we can have the website. Okay, so let us see the websites. This is how it is. It says Dr. Pinky Pandey and call doctor, fix appointment. This is one website. This is another website. So if you reach this website, this is what you're going to see. So which website do you think is going to make the most money? which will have the most customers? Will it be GoDaddy? See, such a beautiful website, such nice colors, such nice photographs, services. She's talking about everything, plans and rating and everything. Or this website which says best diet in Intrapuram. There's hardly any data available. Okay, she says these are the services offered and the overview and all that. And this is the third one. Yes, please. Online dietitian about. Which do you think gets you the maximum customers?
Best dietitian.
Huh?
Second one.
Second one, this one?
Yes.
Why?
Call up action. There is
Because there is clear-cut call to action. It says call the doctor, fix appointment. That is what you want to do. And when it says fix appointment, you select your timing and that's it. So there is a lead capture mechanism. That means I came, all of them did advertisement, right? If I go back to the space from where we came over to these, everybody has put up some advertisements. Everybody has either put up an advertisement or did some SEO. They have all made efforts to get the customer, onto the website. But the moment the customer comes to this website, there is no way, I can talk to them. There's no way. So they are also spending a lot of money and there is no lead capture mechanism. I can go on and on. It looks bright and beautiful. Everything is fine. But what do I do? There's nothing. I don't want to read. I don't want to look at so many pictures. How long can I scroll? That's the end of my, patience. That's it. Now it says get in touch. This thing should have been right here. This should have been right here. Just like this. Because when you're looking for a dietitian with a doctor, you don't want to read so much about the doctor. You just want to talk about the problems. You want to fix an appointment. And this site gives exactly what it gives. And that is why professional sites, why do we call them professional sites? Because they understand the mechanism. And if I give you this Apollo site, it looks even better. You see how fantastic it is. Very nice colors. They immediately ask you, which portion of the country, which place from which part of the country you belong, maybe say Delhi, and this is it. I get the results. Okay, Dr. Kapila, this is it. And Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I don't even have to do several clicks. In one click, I have got this information. Whatever I needed, the precise information is there. That this is doctor, and this is where she is located, and this is her qualification, which sets her apart. She's a gold medalist. Monday, Wednesday, Saturday is her timing. From this to this, and book an appointment, and I'm through. And it asks me the minimum number of questions. You see, enter patient name, email, and mobile number, OTP. That's it. I enter the OTP and submit, and my booking is done. So that is what I mean when I say lead capture mechanism. If you do not have a lead capture mechanism at this point of time, it is very, very difficult to get clients, because people tend to make their websites less like museums. They want people to come, appreciate, see the beautiful paintings, and then clap and then go. Do you want that? You don't want that. You don't want to have a 10-pager website where people can come and appreciate the work of art you have put it there. No, website is not a work of art. It has to be just, enough to give you information. So if you don't have these lead capture mechanisms, you are going to spend a lot of money reaching out to your clients, right? And once you have got these leads, you have got your list. You have got so many in your list, and then you can nurture. And once nurturing is happening and you have got sequence, you got tools like, this is one of the tools, one of the most beautiful tools, getresponse.com. So this getresponse.com, it lets you create sequencing of emails, because, you got to talk, in a different language to everybody and anybody into your sales funnel. So, this is essentially what is happening. You should all understand the sales funnel. I hope you already know it. If you know, that's fine. Otherwise, there will be a little revision. That's fine. So this is how it is. The most simplest of the funnel is this. So people, you got to make people aware, either by sending your friend or either sending some letter or whatever, that yes, you exist. This is awareness. And then that is no guarantee people will get attracted. So if you talk sense over here, if you talk the stuff which is, concerning your target audience, only then they will become interested. And even if you are talking sense to all these, still not 100% will get attracted. Maybe if you send the information to 100 people, maybe 70 people get interested. Once those 70 people are interested, no point repeating the same information over there. You got to give them a second level of, information, which even, for example, here you can just show a beautiful picture or a beautiful bag or beautiful car or whatever. They are interested, they are hooked. And once they want to, they click on that photograph, they reach to probably a website where there's a lot more information. Because if I get attracted to some product and I try to find it over the Google, and if there is no information which is existing, or not good information which is existing, not sufficient information which I'm looking for, not relevant information, I might don't interest and I'll simply go away. So that is loss of money. But if you have this strategy in your mind, you have done your homework well, you are now making people aware, and when people get aware, you want them to come to second stage where you already have a beautiful website, you have got your lead capture mechanism, you have got everything set out, you have got reviews of customers, you have got videos of customers, you have got how to use the product, how many products these people have, how many people this product has really helped out, and all that. So that is the interest. Now this person is really interested, and now you are an option. Probably when you're an option at the decision stage, you want to give information, not that to educate. Now you want to give information how you are different from the competitor and how you are the best person who can solve the problem. So you got to really differentiate. So now you have to send out those differentiators, right? And once it is there, people are right here, and then you send a little trigger. Okay, fantastic, you have been looking at our car, we know, and now this is Navratra, and I'm going to give you a customized EMI plan, or a customized payment plan, or whatever, and it is for 3 days. And if you are able to you give some and limited seats or whatever, so you create that urgency, you create that scarcity, and you give that trigger, and people buy. But if you give this trigger information right here, it is not going to make any sense. If people are not interested, you might as well give them to free. They will still not be interested if they don't have that value, if they don't understand that value. So create that value proposition. And it is going to take a lot of time. That's fine. But you should understand that, yes, this is the mechanics which is behind everything. So I have to take my people one by one into each step. Well, for example, now you can go, these funnels can be really complicated, that and also you can find a funnel where they tell you exactly what kind of, for example, this is how it is. So visitor lands on your website using a tracking pixel, you can begin remarketing ads, then they become subscribers, and once they are subscribers, they start taking your quiz, and you capture. You see the lead capture mechanism is the lead magnet is the quiz. So you tend to take the quiz. For the quiz, you have to enter your email, or maybe to see the results, you have to see to send. You give your email ID, and once you give your email ID, you become a subscriber automatically. And then visitor is taken to a targeted sales funnel, initiates checkout process, and is shown multiple upsells and downsells offers. So you become shoppers, then you become repeat shoppers, and you become brand ambassadors, and you are loyal customers, and you start referring people. So it could be anywhere, but this is how. You have to have this thing set up already. And if you have difficulties in doing that, you can probably go to ClickFunnels. This is an expensive tool, very expensive tool, but it helps you create those beautiful funnels, and you can actually have those funnels over here. So you see, technology is all there to help you. Technology is everywhere to help you. I suggest you can go through this website at your leisure whenever you have time. You can do that. Okay, yeah, ClickFunnels, clickfunnels.com.
Vikas, question.
Yeah.
Cool. So I understand all these are from a digital marketing perspective, but I think go-to-market strategy from my perspective is before this, one step before this, right? Where I decide whom to partner with, how do I reach out, do I go directly to the customers, do I partner with somebody else?
So you are partnering with ClickFunnels, you see? This is also a technology partner to you. You are partnering with you. That is also a distribution mechanism. If you simply partner with YouTube, that is your distribution. So yes, everything could be different. Depends on what product you are selling. It could be different. If there's a physical product, you can do that. If you are into services, maybe a single person can partner with so many tools available, can partner with these tools and take the business to really high scales. So yes, I agree with you completely. That yes, if you are into something which is very physical, maybe you are selling a scooter, so you want to really tie up with all those people, you want to build that distribution network. Yes, just certainly. So I might not be able to help you in very domain specific things. For example, I probably might not know what is your product and what exactly you're trying to do, so it could be different. So I'm trying to give you an overview so that yes, you can fill in the blanks. You can go ahead and if you think that yes, ClickFunnels, you can have a physical replica of something like this. You can do that. So in my view, this is also a partnership. Partnering with YouTube is also a partnership. People can have amazing videos on YouTube, and there is where they create traffic, and then they take them to the website. I can show you one beautiful example. Have you ever heard about Manpreet Tour? Okay, probably not. She's a dancer. So how she took her entire dancing thing to the market? She started as a amateur dancer in school. 2012, she was in school and she does something, right? And people are liking her videos and enjoying her videos and all that, enjoying her performances, stage performances. And then this stage thing comes once in a year. So these are school kids performing. It's once in a. It's too much of a wait for them and also for their fans to wait for 1 year to look at the dance and everything. So what she does is she creates a YouTube channel so that she can be in front of her customers or in front of her fans more often. And then that YouTube channel starts growing. The community starts building, and she keeps on fueling that by bringing more and more traffic. So you bring more and more traffic here by doing a little bit of activities. Maybe you post video here and there, you do something, but the strategy is that you got to build the right kind of, you got to bring in the right kind of traffic over. So once she does that, she's got a huge list, and then one fine day she comes up with this, and this is the website called Dance with Manpreet. Now what happens is, and before that I would like to show you a little bit of her the number of hits they are having on the videos, even before they have any business model or something. It's all about serving first, making that community first. These days it is all very important to have that community based models. You should build a community. You can sell the products anytime. The community is the most important thing you should be creating. So when I say community, so Manpreet Tour.
Is that approach applicable to only B2C kind of solutions or products, or is it applicable to B2B as well? Could you?
It is applicable to everywhere, sir. These 4 things are applicable to everywhere. You have to create traffic. You have to bring the right kind of traffic, be it offline or whatever. You want to have more and more people coming to your dealership. You have to bring traffic, and then you got to nurture them. You got to have their leads. You got to have their names and addresses so that you can talk to them, build that relationship, get them into the community, and then keep on serving them, adding value to them. And so you see, just look at this. This is 2012, and the views, there are 17 million views to this video, and they are kids. So they are building this first, and this is 2012 to 2015, 17, 19, 20, 21. In 2020, she launched this website during COVID, and there are millions of followers already. And what she done was launched a membership for 665 rupees only. For somebody who has 2 crore views on her videos on an average, how many people do you think would have taken up this membership? Even if it is meager 1 lakh people, so that is 66,500,000 rupees in recorded videos alone through website. So that was our strategy to go to the market. How? By serving people first, by making them community members, by adding value to their lives, and then once they're already obliged, offer them a product in a very nice setting, and they have no reason why they don't want to buy. Right? Yeah. So maybe it works for services, maybe it works for something else.
Any particular
I'm losing
strategy for farm? Yeah. Is it clear? Am I clear now?
Yeah. Now it is fine.
So any particular strategy for rural segment, particularly farmers, if I have a product, hardware product to sell to them, anything, any different approach required, or this should work?
So maybe if you have a hardware product, maybe you can set up an event. It could be a free event where you can have a tea biscuit kind of an event, and you can call people and you can give a demo.
Yeah, I think that really works. So Professor Rajput, Mr. Tarang is working on providing solutions that can help farmers in terms of irrigation. So those are actually, so those are basically water pumps, maybe electronically that's operated. And Jay Sudan is actually working to solve this problem of you can say deaf and dumb, to be more crude,
Communication
but
with deaf,
yeah, exactly. So, and it's a very noble cause, right? So, and his customer segment would be, NGOs also sometimes. Customers would be schools, right? Or customers would be an individual. And Jay, you may talk about. So maybe this community is something which is intriguing to me.
Yes, because what happens is, I tell you, once there is a community, then you can really sell a lot of products. You should have a product ecosystem. I'll show you. For example, if there is a doctor, there's something called a concept of product ladder, and you can, probably all of you can do that as well. What is a product ladder? Product ladder is the homework you do before you launch your products, and you don't go out in the market with only one product. So what you do is, for example, okay, yes, maybe this is one letter I would like to show you. So what happens is, how does a dentist go ahead and make clients? So if there is a new dentist in your area, new dentist in the town, he has got one way to reach out the customer, that is to send out pamphlets, put up newspaper advertisements, put up Facebook ads or whatever. That is one way. He chooses rather to have a free dental checkup camp. Now, do you think it makes sense? And advertises it 7 days in advance that you have got nothing doing. I mean, no huge advertisement, just a big beautiful board outside his, maybe the shopping complex where he has his clinic, and it says free, absolutely free dental checkup camp. And for whoever wants to come and join this dental checkup camp, please register. So when he says please register, hundreds and thousands of people, they simply go there and they put up their email or phone number or whatever, and they register and they get a coupon or they get a OTP or whatever. Now they can come to that specific day. Now, once he goes there, on the very first day, the doctor does a free dental checkup, and then he suggests something. Maybe this tooth is some problem. You need an RCT. You need that. You need something, and he cleans just some basic thing, and the person leaves. But the idea is that once you have a customer in front of you, you have now all the chance to make him experience your services. You have all the chance to give him a slice of the experience of your expertise, of your equipments, of your mannerism, of your etiquettes, of your quality, of your hygiene, whatever you maintain, you have got a chance. Otherwise, you are sitting in your clinic and there's nobody coming over because they don't even know you. So now, at least with this exercise, people know him. And if he has been able to solve 1 or 2 problems, people start liking him. And if he has been really genuine, giving you some genuine advice, okay, go and get this done from somewhere, you trust him. And you end up coming back to him. Okay, Dr. Saab, you said this is going to happen. Please help me. Okay, I need teeth cleaning. So, he has got a low price product at the start of the ladder. So once you climb this, you have probably a teeth cleaning done for say 250 rupees or 300 rupees. You trust the doctor more. You go back home happy. And then maybe if there is some other problem, or maybe some other family member comes up with a problem, maybe he has a toothache or whatever, where do you go? You come back to this doctor. You come back to the doctor for whitening. Now the price is a little more. Then you have a retainer kind of thing. Then you come for cosmetic thing, and then you come monthly checkups. Then you go for RCT. So he is making you climb this product ladder. So if you do not have that product ladder, if you go with one product, it is very difficult. I'll show you how even iPhone does it. Maybe yes, we will have the image here somewhere. How iPhone, that is one thing which all of you probably can relate with. Yeah, this is this one. This is one of the very, very wonderful and very effective product ladders. So how does it start a relationship? A company start a relationship with a low costing product. You send out a low costing product in the market and then demonstrate the amazing quality which you stand for. You demonstrate your USP, you demonstrate your quality, you demonstrate all the features and benefits. You demonstrate, how you are solving somebody's pain. And once it is done, you come up with a new product. So people, they want to experience the next level, and you do it with your, you send out information to all those people who have filled up the form. You have the list already of people who bought an iPod, and then you graduate them to iWatch, and then probably iPhone, and then to iPad, and then you have your MacBook ready. Then you've got an iMac, and then your Apple TV or whatever. So it is important because, the cost of the acquiring a customer goes down once you have your customer, you spent once getting him inside your system. So you should have a system over here. If you do not have a system, then you are selling only one product. What is happening is the cost of acquiring a customer is high and he has no reason to be with you for a longer time. So if you have this ecosystem ready, then that person can keep on graduating. You know, I started my business with writing content. So once I was writing content, and I, did a lot of writing for one of my clients. And one fine day he calls me up and he says, Vikasji, I want to, tour Himalayas. Where should I go? Can you imagine? That has no connect. It has absolutely no connect. So I'm asking myself, okay, why is he asking me? I'm writing articles for him and he's asking me for an opinion on where to go and, take his family for a hill station vacation. I have no idea. But then, because he trusts me on one end, so he probably wants my opinion on some, unrelated thing also. This is how people are. So your goodwill transfers from one product to another. So it makes a lot of sense. And so many people were asking me, because I spent some time in Uttarakhand, I knew a little bit about hills and all. People commenting, I thought maybe, this is just like, God's way of telling me start a tourism business. And I got into rural tourism. So what happens now is, people come to me via this writing route or via this marketing route. Then I have got rural tourism thing also ready for them. Then I've got second thing ready for them. Then I've got a business consulting ready for them. So I need people to come into my system once and then they stay with me for years. For years they are with me, and I have CAC which is going down and down, and the profits which are going, better. So this is one model. This is one way you can do it. You can have a, this kind of a model. So yes, if you have those equipments and everything, you can, you can have an event. You can talk to people. You can bring a lot of people for a free event. So when there is a free event, there's a lot of relevant traffic. And once people are interested, you can have some mechanism of capturing their data. Okay, whoever liked this, please fill up this form, or whoever want more information, please fill up this form. You'll get genuine data, and that is the data which you want to talk level to information to, because now you got leads. And level to information, people will immediately not lap it up. You got to, send those messages and keep on nurturing them. Okay, if you use this pump, this is going to happen. Okay, Mr. Suresh used this pump and he saved 30% on electricity. Mrs. Anita used this pump and saved a lot of time. So, you keep on sending this value addition mails, and one fine day he's ready to buy. So this, the toughest part here in, go to market is that nurturing that client. So I might sound I've taken this, I've held the entire thing from a different angle, but this is what is working at this point of time.
Yeah. Sir, I think we will, thank you. I think that was really great. We are at the end, but I think there are a couple of 1 or 2 questions, possibly, if you can stay back for another 5 to 10 minutes. Yeah. So, yeah, we can go ahead. Jay, if you have your question, maybe.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, So,
yeah.
Because just, I'm going back to my earlier question, right? So I was looking at go-to-market and marketing plan as 2 different things. Given we are a startup, we have not launched our solution yet, right? So go-to-market strategy for me tells me, out of the 20 features I have in my product, what I should launch first, whom should I target first, if I have multiple segments, which segment to target first, and how do I expand that to multiple segments. That's my go-to-market strategy overall. And when it comes to marketing plan, once I decide which segment I'm targeting first, within that segment, I'll have to do whatever activities you told us, right? Marketing, get the traction, give a free service, then upgrade, right? So, so I'm seeing these 2 as 2 different You're clear.
You're audible, sir.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. You see, for me, it is so important to, have whatever you have and immediately reach out to the customer. Because the thing is, sometimes what happens is, we are in our own silos. We are working in a locked room, 8x8 room, and we are working on some projects, and the customer is thinking something different. So for me, you got to immediately start selling. If you have whatever MVP you have developed, that is fine. So it is only going to, you will make mistakes. Okay, once you get in the right kind of traffic, once you're trying to get the traffic, you might understand that this is not the right kind of traffic. So you go back and then you find, you throw out your advertisement to somebody else. So by going through this same process again and again and again, you every time you filter and you learn. But for me, it is very difficult that yes, you work somewhere first and then you bring up, you make your own assumptions and then you go to the market. Do not delay that market thing. So whatever minimum you have, you must go through this traffic and this 4 things which I've told you again and again as soon as possible. So I would really like to kind of spend lesser time in understanding. I would like to keep the customer with me and let the customer also give me feedback, and that should be a real customer, not a focus group. I'll have to go out in the market, sell that product to him and see, if it is selling or not, why he's saying no to me, rather than, assuming something and sitting with the focus group and then assuming that this is my right segment. You'll never know who's your right segment. The only right segment is when they start paying you. So that is how I take. Maybe it is different from what you think, but what I want is that, you should go out first and then come back home and then do your homework, rather than doing a lot of research and making a project and then going out in the market. No, that my favorite, one of my favorite quotes is, everybody has that plan until you get knocked up in the stomach. There was some boxer. So you have that plan, but that plan may not, that the rubber has to meet the road as soon as possible. So I have started businesses without having a product. I went over and I understood what people want and I said, okay, I can give it to you. Advance, please. So people actually pay me first and then I started up with, making the product. Otherwise, I have done other ways, or the other way as well, where I've, made an entire thing in my mind and, came up with a plan and project and spent a lot of money. And when I, actually came up with all my, stuff out in the market, people probably never wanted it, or probably did not lap it up as the way I wanted. So I like to go with, with keeping that end in the mind first. This is what you need. Okay, I'll get it for you. I'll do that backward calculation. I'll start from marketing and then probably go to market, right? And that is how I would like to do it. Because more time you spend without interacting with the customer, it is a risky proposition. You are not getting a real-time feedback. So for me, a product, this is how I start. 10 lakh rupees a month. What should I do to, or maybe I have a passion project ready with me that this is my product, whatever. I want to make 10 lakh rupees. So now I'll come back and say, okay, my product is 1,000 rupees. How many products I should sell? 10,000 or whatever. So this is the product I must be selling. Now, what should I do? So once I have this number ready for 10,000 product, how much customers I should be getting, how much people I should be getting in my attraction level or my awareness level. Then how many people should be there in the interest level? How many people should be there? So when I want to sell 100 stuff, I know I have to have 100 people in my awareness funnel. And if I want to sell 1,000 products, I know there has to be 10,000 people in the awareness funnel. If I want to sell 10,000, I want to know, I know that I need to have 1 lakh people over there. For 1 lakh people, that is how I do my marketing calculation now. How much money I will take to get those 1 lakh people, right target people into my awareness funnel. How much money should I put on Facebook or Twitter or Google or wherever to get those people? Ever since I just inverted this thing, it started working for me. Rather than, doing all the research first and then going out in the market, it's extremely risky. You tend to spend all your money over there. Assume that you already have a product, go out and sell. Have that confidence, and then you get a feedback, and then you start working backwards. So yes, in a nutshell, I'm stressing more on going out in the market immediately with this marketing strategy rather than doing a lot of stuff at home.
Yeah. Jay, you have any other question?
No, I think I got the answer.
Yeah. Krishi Ashray, then we have Dada Sahib, Nilesh, Rutuj, any questions?
So this is Rutuj.
Yeah.
We're making powertrains for electric vehicles, so electric scooters and 3-wheelers.
Power?
For the powertrain, like the so electric vehicles, but the powertrain of it, like the motor, battery, etc.
Okay.
Right. So the I mean, even that we want to basically license out the technology rather than being manufacturers of the technology.
Okay.
To the automotive, like the companies such as like Bajaj and who are right, who are making either auto components or making vehicles themselves.
Okay.
Right. So we initially, like before having any prototype, we went to Mahindra and just showed the concept. But they said, come back and make a prototype and then show it to us, in a sense, right?
But
So they
but at least
donated a couple of
did you get some feedback from what kind of prototype they want?
Correct. We did get some feedback, right?
So
And
that was
in
still
fact, they
better
donated
than
some
making the
vehicles.
prototype and then reaching out to them. It was a wonderful decision that you actually went there and you got feedback even for the prototype. This is exactly what I'm trying to tell you.
Okay. Got it.
This is exactly what I wanted to say to you. Because otherwise, if you had made a prototype according to your own things and according to your own wishes and what assumptions you had, you might have spent a lot of money and then prototype would have not solved any purpose for him. And he would have told you to go back. There's a lot of enthusiasm and not just loss of money in entrepreneurship. It is lost enthusiasm as well, and that is more dangerous. So it is a wonderful thing that you did right in front. You had the guts. You went directly and you said, "Okay, this is what we want." So maybe he said, "Give me this kind of prototype." Now you have an excellent validation. Somebody is telling you that I want exactly this. Now you go back and do exactly that what he wanted, and the chances of acceptance are far more than had it been if you had a prototype in your hand of your assumption and then you went there. Fantastic. Yes, this is exactly what I'm trying to say. Do that backward calculation. Assume that yes, you have it already. Reach out to the market. Assume you have it. You are going to deliver tomorrow. You say, okay, give me order now. I'm going to deliver you tomorrow. This is what Richard Branson can jump off the cliff and then figure out a way how do you going to land. Otherwise, you spend a lifetime bringing that beautiful airplane which will never even start off. He says, jump. Take that plunge, because that is a far better plunge, because the customer has told you to take the plunge and he is ready to pay you. There is at least one customer, clear cut. So, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Hello, sir. This is Sandeep from Krishya. Actually, we are making a decentralized application for mostly for agriculture department. Okay. So there farmers and the vendors, they can connect. Like I'm basically from Bihar, and I have observed that people are facing kind of people don't have that much money, so they can buy truck. So normally they order or buy near place. So we thought, why not we make a kind of Uberization and I look at like the online, and they can book like how we book the Ola and those kind of things. Okay. And also like have some seeds or some chemicals they buy somewhere, right? So that is our vendor, so they can connect through that customer and they can buy. So that is our idea, and we are just a kind of a service provider. So they will connect and we will charge some like minimal charges. Means, initially it's a free of cost, and we have started our marketing in a sense like we're making we have already have the community, and day by day our followers are growing. Okay, so and we are making a video on the agriculture, that cultivation and those things. So like we are doing the how we should proceed.
So you say that you are making an app.
Yes, yes.
That is what I understood. You are making
Yes,
an
yes.
app and it is going to connect the farmer
and any users, means and the vendors.
And the vendors. And what is the farmer going to buy?
They can
Seeds?
buy, yeah, they can buy seeds. They can buy order like chemicals they need, farming related other machinery equipment. They can order.
Okay. So you have a revenue. So initially you want to give it for free.
Yes, yes.
That makes sense. It is very much like a SaaS model. You can let people, your focus could be first on installing the app. So you got to talk in terms of the benefits, why they should even install the app. And maybe you can sweeten the deal that if they, install the app, they get this consulting free or they get these products free for first few months or 3 months. And that is your time, then there's not many people who message that promotes. You have a chance to strike a beautiful relationship with them. You have a chance to earn their respect, earn their like, earn their no. And you have a chance to earn their trust. And once everything is fine, they'll happily pay you. You show them the value that even, if you spend 1 rupee, you are getting 10 rupee out of it, worth the value. So this is your time. You've got 3 days, you got this 3 months, 90 days to show the value. For that, please do your homework well. Do not launch the app if it is like, you're testing out on somebody. If you're testing, then the focus group should be different. If you are coming out to the customer, it should be fully functional app, which gives them exactly what they need and beyond their expectations. It should delight them. It should give them so much value that they don't want to part with it. And then you put a minimum pricing. And they will do the rest for you. They'll spread it out to so many people. The communities, it will be like, so many people would want to have it if they get value. It should not just be a piece of some technology sitting on their phones and they don't know what to do with that. So please do not go out with a half-baked product. Make a beautiful product. Yes, it could be MVP, but it should not be half-baked. Whatever it intends to do, it should do very, very nicely. So you have a beautiful chance to, prove that, yes, you can do, and you can, and people would put their trust. And once they put their trust on you, I tell you, people go into comfort zones. Even if newer apps come like that, you don't have much motivation to switch on to another apps. We are very comfortable with whatever we have downloaded. Agar Paytm ho gaya, I'm not comfortable going to Google Pay and Phone Pay and all that. It was for Paytm for me. Now it is Paytm for me for as long as possible, as long as they don't commit a blunder and as long as, it doesn't get really accepted and I get frustrated, I will be with Paytm. I don't want to so many apps and complicate my lives. So that's a wonderful thing, but just be sure that, it is serving some very specific things. And for that, you should be very aware of what exactly are the pains you are trying to solve. If you have really prioritized pain number 1, pain number 2, pain number 3, if you are addressing that, you are adding a lot of value, you are making their lives easier, that's fantastic. And if it is just a wish, it's good to have kind of thing. You see, there are two things, people get into vitamin business. I tell them to get into antibiotic business. The problem is rural people, when they go to a doctor, the doctor will write antibiotics. The doctor also writes vitamins. And then this chap goes to the pharmacist to buy, and he says, okay, give me antibiotics. Don't give me these vitamins. He wants to save money on vitamins because he understands that antibiotics are necessary. I will have to have it anyway. So I'll have antibiotics and I sleep at home, and vitamin thing I can cover up. So if you are into vitamin business, this is what is going to happen to you. Be in the antibiotic business, solve the genuine pains so that people cannot do without you. And if you prove it to them, that's it. So you should solve that problem, solve that pain. That vitamin business thing is, those frills, you can't, the upsell ke liye, it's okay for upsells, but you can't base up, your business on vitamin products. No, it should really solve a problem. And people should be like, oh my God, how have we been living our lives without this till now? It has completely changed my life. They'll go gaga, they'll go crazy. People have this thing, once they have wonderful thing, they like to go out and everybody wants to be, feel like a king and they want to give advices. And this is how you'll get a lot of customers. And in a village scenario, it is going to grow like wildfire. You don't need any pamphlets. Also, communities, talk to communities and it's everywhere. So yes, I think that if you take care, you will certainly, it would be helpful.
Yeah, I think it is 7:45. Maybe we can take up some questions, a little later.
Yes, if there are any questions.
Yeah, sure. Not now.
I don't mind.
So first of all, thank you so much, sir. I think that was, I will put it, that was very electrifying. It was altogether very engaging. And obviously a lot of, insights came, wherein the one point that came forward is, just plunge, right? If you've already tested it out, go ahead and get into, that becomes your GTM probably, right? So, so thank you for such a wonderful session. Thank you so much for everybody, to be very patiently, listening, and, hope to connect this Friday, and we can definitely, discuss more on MVPs and GTMs. By the way, the exact GTM topic will come the next week, so we can discuss in more detail. Thank you so much, sir. Good night, everybody.
Okay, thank you.